Hello and welcome
Ooh.
to our Podymore Heath studio. There's the camera. I'm looking at my laptop. This is very, very strange. We are doing a live stream from the studio, John. Are we live? Is it
We are
working?
live. Did
We're
have to double
live.
check.
Oh,
We are.
excellent.
Yeah.
Lovely scenes. I'm very self-conscious that I can see myself. Are you?
Yeah, my vision isn't too great. So at the moment, it's just a really crap jumper on the left side. And then, no, it's good. I mean, this is kind of a different,
This is
hopefully
new
people
for
will be
us,
able
yeah.
to tell it's a bit of a different, it's been renovated. We've got other things behind the camera as well that we're looking forward to showing in more videos.
Yeah, definitely. They were looking forward to using this space more throughout 2025. Being able to do live stuff from here is a game changer. And normally we'd do something live, do something pre-recorded, run home, edit it as fast as possible, download footage and whatnot. It takes a long time to be able to go live and answer questions like in the room as well from viewers. It's excellent. Hopefully the sound is working, the visuals are working, the Wi-Fi is working, and we can crack on. I've got comments and stuff on my phone, so if people want to bring their comments through, we'll answer some of them. But this is Asensio related more so than general transfers. We will touch on some other bits, I'm sure, but we will do another live stream tonight around the end of the deadline or on the deadline itself to kind of wrap up January as a whole. Comments are, we can hear you loud and clear, everything is good, etc. So I'm going to kind of zone out from the comments for a little bit and we'll come back to those afterwards. Now we know it's all working. John's got his laptop for those listening because it's deadline day. He's a journalist. He's keeping tabs across things.
Oh yeah, I'm not just surfing the web. I'm doing, but deadline day is the busiest day of the year by a mile. Even if, Villa are going to be signing players, but even when nothing's happening, it's
still stuff to do, isn't there?
Yeah. So it's a manic day always.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of Sky Sports journalists sat on TV with their phones and stuff, so you tapping away on a laptop is not a problem for this episode. We'll basically keep an eye out to see if Villa will announce Asensio, aren't we, really? That is the kind of
things,
the main thing at the moment. We kind of had this plan in mind that Villa we thought maybe would announce Rashford this morning. We'd do a Rashford live stream. We'd pre-record something for Asensio to post when he's announced, and then we'll do a wrap-up live stream at the end of the day. Potentially that leak of the photo yesterday forced Villa fans to announce it earlier than we thought. So we did the Rashford podcast last night, which we got that out of the way. That was a good laugh. Good fun that was. So today it's like we're going to talk about Asensio, but as of what time is it now? 10:59. He's not been announced, but we're confident enough to say he's set to join Villa. Is that our kind of get out here, isn't it? It's going to happen. It just hasn't yet.
Yeah, I just say there, I don't think we really expected Rashford to be announced at 10 p.m. last night, but here we are. Asensio is going to be, it is an interesting one because I think Rashford is obviously the signing that's taken the limelight. It's one that kind of doesn't necessarily break the internet, but is it the biggest transfer of the window for any club?
Potentially,
possibly not in terms of value or anything, but one that grabs the headlines for sure.
Even like a social media kind of buzz around it.
Yeah. Whether you're a Villa fan or a Barcelona, Real Madrid fan, like it just it goes across the globe. So Asensio feels a bit almost secondary when probably shouldn't, because this is a player who played for Real Madrid for I don't know, possibly a decade or so, and has been at PSG. We'll talk about what he could contribute to Villa, some of his numbers as well, which are pretty impressive actually. He'd be arriving on a big wage, and this is a loan deal. I think PSG are also open to putting him out on loan to Villa next season as well. If all goes to plan, he's happy, Villa are happy. So sort of again with Rashford, low risk. You're paying some millions of pounds in wages at the end of it, but if Villa gets to the next round of the Champions League, well then that's paid for through that prize money alone. So very low risk, and one that again I can be excited for, because we're talking at 11 a.m. on deadline day. It's hard to really talk about squad depth completely when, for example, Leon Bailey has interest from different clubs, but it is interesting to see how that works because, as we mentioned last night, there's a lot of options there, from John McGinn to Bailey to Marlon to Rodgers to Ramsey to Rashford. But these players are going to all think, I should be starting here and in this position. So it's going to be interesting how kind of Emery manages that situation. A player can play on the right or down the middle, like primarily, obviously, left-footed. Very creative too, which I think is something that we've maybe lacked a little bit. Rodgers is creative, but in a very different way, less kind of guile and defense splitting pass, more so powerful running and beating players, whereas Asensio gives that little bit of I don't know, is more of a sort of Tielemans about him in terms of how he can unlock a defense, I'd say. So that's something I think we've missed for a little while.
Yeah, totally agree. Just a couple of comments. Journo John in the building says disgruntled hoarder, which
it is my job for the last few years. So
Divalo says the sea captain jumper is a strong look, John. Don't worry.
I knew it. When I got up this morning, when I got up this,
a fisherman once wearing mine.
Did I call you a fisherman?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I won't be so rude. When I did go up this morning, I did think, because last night I was obviously very busy with Rashford. I didn't think about what I'd wear in the morning, which is something I don't think about usually.
No, I don't, as you can tell.
But after 2 comments on the live stream, I'm already regretting it.
Can we just clarify for those in the comments as well? 200 people watching live. Thank you very much for joining. Please understand this is very much a work in progress. People say they can hear us. That could be from the camera audio and it sounds rubbish. Hopefully it's these microphones you can hear. And just for the YouTube audience, I'm going to hit my microphone. Can you please tell me that you can hear it? Please, some feedback would be lovely. I'll cut that out of the audio version, don't worry. Jay says, Dan holding no microphone, no laptop, no light, can see his legs, utter woke nonsense. I love that. We have filmed it here like this before, but it is slightly different.
Yeah.
Yes, the comments say they can hear these microphones. That's good to know. Okay, so Asensio then.
Yeah.
As we keep saying, set to join at the moment. And we'll change the title of this podcast once he's announced. This is our Asensio announcement video, if you like. Have you done any more than just watch Marco Asensio skills, goals, and assists? Or is that just me?
I have. I've got some numbers, which, again, apologies, but on a podcast, reading things, it doesn't make for great entertainment. So there's no way.
Do it in a funny voice, maybe?
I do that already. Basically, my thing with Asensio is that, that's going to happen quite a lot with messages and stuff. A player who's at Real Madrid clearly did well, won lots of trophies, then goes to PSG, ahead of joining Villa, which I think at the time was understandable. Emery had just joined Villa in the Conference League, not the Champions League. And I haven't watched much of PSG, and I don't know exactly why he's fallen out of favour. They've obviously got different wingers, Bacola, Dembele, they've had Mbappe and whatnot. So I think it's an interesting move. I'm excited by it, just like I am with Rashford. But I'm now more excited by looking at some of the numbers that are behind his game as well. And that's because it says very creative. So this season, if you need to kind of look at per 90 numbers, because he hasn't started too many games. He started kind of like in and around like half of PSG's league matches. And then, most of the Champions League games he's featured in. So it's not as if he's been exiled.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit surprised they've loaned him out. I don't know if they've signed someone to replace him. PSG, I genuinely don't know. But yeah, a little bit surprised they've pushed him out, to be perfectly honest. But maybe that's to try and increase his value. But then, say, if they're open to giving him out on loan again next season when his contract's up in 2026, clearly PSG don't need the money. I think we knew that already. Anyway, in terms of his numbers, shots on target per 90, the second most in Ligue 1 this season. So 2 shots per 90, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is.
Is that on target?
Yeah, shots on target. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, 2 shots, which decent.
You could score 2 goals in theory.
Yeah, and it's the second most in Ligue 1, so that's good. And then shots total per 90, that's nearly 4 shots per 90. That is quite a lot. So a player who...
Did you say this about Coutinho when he joined? Like, he loves a shot.
Oh,
loves
God.
He loves a shot from long range.
Yeah, but come on, we don't want to be comparing Coutinho, do we? We almost avoided that last night. So a player who likes to get...
I'd have edited that joke out so people don't get the wrong
player
impression.
Who likes to get shots off, but also create. So this is where he gets better. Assists per 90 in Ligue 1 this season, the most, 0.58 per 90 assists, which, one of the most creative players in the French division. Expected assists per 90, the most. Shot creating actions per 90, the 4th. So nearly 6 shot creating actions per 90 in that division. I mean, that's nothing to be kind of snuffed at. That's, this is a proper like elite creator, essentially.
Does the level of the league impact that at all for you?
Well, yeah, possibly. But I think because there's also a big sample size of him playing for Real Madrid, like the biggest, best club in... I mean, we'd like to think that Villa are the best club in the world, where you go on trying to the most successful club in the world, Real Madrid. I mean, he hasn't been playing for Nantes or Club Brugge. No offense to those teams, Club Brugge beat us a few weeks ago. But this is a player who's been there and done it, and is now doing it. All you can do is play to your best level, can't you?
Yeah.
When you're given the opportunity, and he's definitely doing it. And then goal creating actions per 90 as well. The second, so 1 goal creating action per 90. And again, French league, playing for the best team in that division. But I don't think you can get your numbers too much better than that if he's coming out as first and second in almost all of those creative metrics per 90. It's bloody good, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited by looking at those numbers. Again, I don't watch French football. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but a joke. But yeah, the key point is that I'm excited by this, by seeing that at least.
Yeah.
And again, I think Villa can probably cope without Asensio, to be perfectly honest, but you never know. Sometimes this kind of signing takes you on that next level that you didn't know that you had.
Yeah.
We can talk about the defence and different things, but we'll
will,
save that for later.
Yeah.
For now, and last night we spoke about how Rashford can get back into form and be one of the best attackers in the Premier League again if he rediscovers that. Asensio, probably the one of, if not the most creative players in the French division for PSG, who are in the Champions League, still in the Champions League, right? Yeah.
Just about,
and has been at Real Madrid for most of his career. So it's
also
it's pretty crazy, to be fair, that
played
Villa
for Spain as well.
That.
Like we talk a lot about the level of the French league or whatever. Playing for the national team, I think it's like 40 odd caps for Spain. Like,
for sure.
Not a bad player if you do that.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it goes without saying, Spanish influence at Villa, Emery, the assistant coaches, some of the players at the club now Spanish speaking too, if they're not playing for Spain. So he should be able to fit into the dressing room pretty seamlessly. Coping with the weather over here, that's something different. I don't mean that in a joking way, but I'm pretty sure he was born in Palma in Mallorca, so it
is a bit different.
Yeah.
Comments from Ed, who said Asensio has been playing as a false 9 for PSG too, so another break glass for emergency option up top, which is kind of what we said before. Rashford also, if Watkins was injured or needed a rest, could play through the middle. And Hans, Emery seemed to question the team's mentality, and Asensio has a winning mentality, as does Rashford, arguably. I know Man United are a joke at the moment, but has played.
That's a really good point.
Won trophies.
That's a really good point.
I think mentality aside for a second, which is absolutely a factor from a personality perspective and offering something different to Villa. Something that Rob Warner mentioned on the post-Wolves podcast, I think it was. We kind of spoke about Rashford a little bit, was that we're signing players who are used to playing for the elite club against teams that are going to sit in and defend, something that Villa have struggled to break down. So some of Rashford's best moments come from being on transition and counter-attack, which is what Villa are good at anyway. But he's used to doing that for a team that most teams traditionally would have set up against Man United to be defensively, and it's up to Man United to come and break you down. Same for Asensio, you're playing for the best, arguably the best team in Spain and the best team in France. Everybody's going to want to defend against you. If you can unlock the door and win, put a ball through or score a goal from 20 yards and you're the difference maker, that's something Villa don't currently have.
No, I think that's absolutely true. And
Champions League
for that reason, hopefully we'll be able to see the best out of these players, because while we aren't going to control 70% of the ball in games like PSG would or Real Madrid would, or even Man United when they were decent, when Rashford was there, we're still going to have most of it, but equally we will have opportunities to break and counter. We're not going to always play in one specific way, and it definitely suits us to play on the break as well. So all of a sudden, signing Marlon this window and signing Rashford, you've got blistering pace on either side if that's where they are to play. But listen, the key thing is having options. I said yesterday, I do feel a little bit sorry for Jacob Ramsey that now, as he's just coming back into form, his place appears to be, appears to be taken right away, but no one can tell me that Rashford isn't going to be starting if he's once he's match fit.
Yeah.
But again, that's part and parcel of being an elite team. So it won't be anything new really to Rashford or Asensio either, because they know that they need to perform to start.
Yeah.
So if they're not playing in the game, then I'm sure they've dealt with that before. That won't be anything new specifically, but it will be for some of our other players. But bringing in the Rashford or Asensio, again, players who've been there and done it, like you mentioned just then, it is that not just a winning mentality, but that is something that we want to build and grow. And Emery said as much last summer Monchi and Damian as well. We did an interview with them, and they mentioned how there's a list of players that Villa couldn't let go of. One of them was Emi Martinez, who they've just given a contract to, or did a few months ago now, and it's because of what he brings, not just in terms of his quality as a goalkeeper and being on the pitch, but the mentality and what they're trying to build there. I think when Emery probably first came in, he thought, okay, well, we're the underdogs, and these players need to gain experiences. We go in losing Legia. We've won a couple of away games in Europe. That's it.
Total.
There's a lot for us to grow. Obviously more than a couple. Probably I think it's 3 actually. But we have many more things that we need to achieve and experience together to kind of fast track that a little bit. Bring in a former Real Madrid player who's won the Champions League, who isn't even 30 yet, by the way. It's
only 29 like last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's kind of a myth that when he's turned 30, that's it. Asensio could be approaching his peak. And now it's our kind of turn to get the most out of him. Same goes for Rashford. But yeah, building that mentality is really important. Something that Rashford said in an interview earlier today. And we've heard Martinez say like, I want to win the Champions League. And you kind of laugh a little bit because it's like, Martinez is like, he's so well driven. Like he's going to say that. But you almost start to believe it more when Rashford does an interview and says it with a straight face, and is like, well, if you don't think about winning it, you're not going to win it. And it's like,
if that's not your intention, then
it's not wrong. We're in the last 16. Why can't we try and win it? What the hell are we doing otherwise? So that, even like for me, I'm thinking, he's, you get through the next round, and you get through the next one, and the next one, you've won the thing. So it makes it sound easy, obviously. But adding those players to already a group that is starting to build, like with Martinez and some other players, it just adds a bit more. You add layers of that sort of mentality that you want. You got Martinez now, you got Rashford, Asensio coming in. It all helps.
Do you remember Z from the Rashford podcast last night?
Yeah, how could I forget?
It's back in the comments.
Get away.
Villa signing leftovers. No surprises here. It must be a day off at the school today. Lots of questions about centre-backs. We are going to do a secondary podcast later this evening when we talk about the defensive situation. Hopefully Villa have signed somebody by then. The loanees that have gone out, I was going to say Philogene then. Who am I trying to say? Illing Jr. and Nedeljkovic, Swinkles. We will touch on all that later. We want to try and keep this as Asensio focused as possible. Villa's still not yet confirmed the signing. I keep refreshing Twitter and the website and nothing yet. Just on his personality a little bit from Create Guy, who said Asensio is also fluent in Dutch, apparently, has a Dutch mother. Lots of Dutch influence in the team now with Maatsen and Marlon. A potential easier way of getting into settling in and that kind of thing.
Maatsen and Marlon speak like pretty much perfect English, so I'm sure Asensio's.
And there's a lot, a lot of Spanish speaking at the club already as well. So,
there'd be
I'm hoping he'll come and settle in pretty quickly. I'd like to think, obviously, you want it to be successful, but that kind of extra bit of a carrot, as we've said with Rashford, of a permanent deal, a potential 18-month loan for Asensio, the back half of this season and next season as well.
That's why
and that's a nice thing to have, isn't it? I think his contract runs out at the end of that 18 months as well. So then you go, if Asensio has been good for us for 18 months to be my free, it feels like there's a lot kind of there that could work out.
Why I like the Rashford deal and Asensio deal in particular, because I think you need that the bit after as well.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very easy for fans after 3 games that Rashford doesn't score and doesn't play particularly well. It's very easy for them to think, just send it back to United in June and scrap it. We'll start again, buy this player instead. But actually, I think you kind of naturally fans support players more when they know it's. Don't get me wrong, we're not stuck with these players. Essentially, could end his loan and then leave. Rashford could do the same, and we don't take up a permanent option. But the fact that we've got it there, I think that's important, not just for the fans in terms of we can support these players because they could be here for X years, but also for the player as well. They're arriving at Bodymore, and instead of thinking, I just need to get through this and then move on, this could be me for 4 years, and the most important years, not maybe the most important years of the career, but the last years at the top, potentially. If Rashford stays with Villa for 3 years, as his contract would be, if he gets permanently in the summer, that takes him to 30, 31. it's really important then that is really successful for him. Same as Asensio, he'll be.
Well, he's done La Liga, he's done
30,
Liga, and he's now got a crack at the Premier League at an age where you're kind of approaching your last big contract kind of thing at 30, 31. If he doesn't do it here, that's probably the end of his Premier League career, isn't it, potentially?
Yeah, because if he doesn't do it, I can't speak enough highly about what we're doing in Emery, but if he doesn't work well at Villa, we might finish 7th or 6th this season, something I don't know. Then there are an Arsenal, Liverpool, or City. Are they going to take Asensio? Possibly not. So it's important for him to do what he wants to do. And again, as I said, like Rashford yesterday, I don't think they'll have any thoughts of, or not concrete thoughts anyway, of thinking, okay, I've done well here. Now I'm going to move on and do something else. Because we said last night, Rashford could get back in the England team. It's really important these players know what they have, and they've had it bad. Rashford in particular, he knows that this is a fresh start and it's a big opportunity. If he takes it, he doesn't want to be scarred again by then passing up on this opportunity permanently. So, kind of keeping on track with Asensio. He hasn't played too much football, cracking the Premier League now, make a success of it. And then if he does, why change it?
Yeah.
There's nothing, again, because of Spanish, Emery, there's different things going on there. There's reasons why he'd be settled and he wouldn't be thinking, actually, grass is greener over there. I'll join this, when it may not actually suit in the end.
Yeah, just going back to Rashford quickly, based on a couple of comments from David and Rich. David says, I thought his words were interesting in the Villa interview. I'm only here for a short while, wants to make the most of it. Is he purely seeing this as a short-term thing?
No,
I mean, obviously, potentially, yes. But I think that's more so, at the moment, he's only a short-term loan, so what's he going to say?
I did think this yesterday when, even when he put his Instagram post out, and he was like, oh, thanks for making this loan happen and stuff. And one of my friends messaged me saying, I can't believe United didn't give him like a big send-off because it's a loan.
Well, yeah.
Like that, just naturally, they're not going to be like, oh, and the same for Rashford. He's not going to be putting out a big message saying like, oh, I'm leaving Man United. Can't forget, Man United is his club. He's been there since the age of 8. It would be like us, kind of going through, like his love for Man United is our love for Villa kind of thing. Maybe it's dwindled for him a little bit because of his own experience. But the point I'm trying to make is,
why is that so loud out there? By the way, there's normally nobody here.
I don't know if I'm
the room next door. It's the loudest thing ever.
But the point I'm trying to make is that he's not going to just disassociate himself from Man United right away at the first chance of going on loan.
Yeah.
When he knows if this doesn't work out particularly well, he's then got to go back to Man United and he's got to do the whole thing over again of 2 months. Where's Rashford going? He's got to do pre-season, even though he said goodbye a couple of months ago. Like,
it doesn't make any
don't
sense.
Don't overthink that. Yeah. He's never going to say, and then I'm here for the next few years. Because then he knows better than anyone else that if he doesn't play particularly well, the media, he's already said he's going to be here for years, but he's been rejected because Villa don't want to pay the 40 million. Like this, forget the kind of psyche and stuff behind it. It's like simply, it's a loan. If it goes well, Villa will probably pay 40 million pounds. They'll negotiate with Rashford and he'll probably stay.
Yeah.
That's all we've got to think about. And as I say, I wouldn't want fans to think or overthink that as like he's using us for this and that. We're in the Champions League last 16. He wants to win the Champions League with us. Is there a stepping stone to that? Like, we are what he wants now. And if he does well, why wouldn't he want that more?
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say in a bad way.
That's all right. When we're doing our best here, I'm very distracted by the noise that's going on outside. Hopefully that's not coming across too much on the podcast. On Asensio then, where he fits in, obviously we've mentioned about kind of a false 9, number 10, off the right-hand side, almost the opposite to Rashford, who's off the left, number 10, false 9, you know, kind of the opposite. You'd suspect a forward line of Watkins up top, Rashford left, Asensio right, Rodgers in the middle at the moment, Ramsey on the bench, Marlon on the bench, Bailey, if he's still here, which, I mean, we'll talk about that probably tonight when we know for certain either way what's going on. Mm-hmm. Lots of options there. Tielemans can play further forward, McGinn can play off the right. Villa are stacked with options in that area. Let's not talk about defence just yet because we're very, very light there, and that is something hopefully we'll rectify today as well. That kind of half space, I suppose, he's going to be playing on the right as a left footer. He's not going to be hugging the touchline. He's not going to be whipping balls in. Yeah. He will do a bit of that obviously as well, but he wants to drift into that kind of like, if this is the penalty area, he wants to be on the corner of it. He wants to be bending the shot with his left foot. And I know I joked before about watching his goal skills and assist video compilation. but it's a good goals catalogue he's got.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
he's got a
He can hit a
great
ball.
left foot.
Yeah.
And so is something about it. Left-footed goals look better to me. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Don't know what it is.
Yeah, no,
They just look great.
left-footed players in general. I
The way
feel
they
like
do things just look better.
I think it's like their bias to the left foot is like something about it. There's more finesse and control, but then the right foot usually stinks. So, yeah.
So yeah, kind of playing on that right hand side and cutting in is something that Villa will hopefully make the most of with the overlapping fullback.
But structurally, I'm interested about that because we all know that on the left, Luca Dean or Maatsen hug that flank like it's like they're playing on the wing, and it's something that Andres Garcia also did, and then Bogard went into the back three against Wolves. So maybe, I mean, there's lots of different ways of playing, but in my head anyway, if we're going to do that and essentially plays off the right, I think you'd have to have Cash pushing up as well to make that space like we do with Maatsen or Dean and Ramsey or Rodgers on that left. You'd have to mirror that, which means Kamara would have to come into a back three, which I like. I like I've said it before, Konsa, Mings or Torres and Kamara as a three. That's your solid foundation and your base to work off. And then in the middle two, you've got Tielemans or someone else. But it is interesting because we have lots of options. But for example, if I kind of continue on that, if you're playing Rashford, Rodgers, and Asensio behind Watkins, hear me out, and then you have Luca Dean playing as that high and wide left back, and then you have a right back who doesn't really push on. Now that's interesting because you can't have Rodgers coming back into a middle two, double pivot, and have Kamara as a three at the back. So, yeah, I'm a bit interested to kind of see how that works. But that's something that, again, I mentioned previously. I kind of reserve my judgment for the end of the window. One point, like if we don't sign a defender, okay, that's a problem. But also, and Villa are working to sign a defender now, by the way. Of course, that's their priority in the last however many hours we have left of the window. 11.
12.
Yeah. But I've lost my train of thought. But I want to see how this works. How does Rashford fit in? What does that mean for Ramsey? Where does Asensio play? How does that link with Rodgers? That will make sense probably even after March. So that's a long time to kind of really review these loan signings. But again, they're only loan signings. If they don't work, no risk taken.
A couple of comments. A podcast one from Manga says, bit rate is so low on this stream. So there's not really much we can do about that.
What does that mean?
It's like a high bit rate looks better for lots of fast moving parts. So you'd watch a football game with a low bit rate, it'd be really like flickery. But it's two people sat still. Like most of it is very still. You don't need high bit rate. It's so your connection is better basically. It's not great, but it doesn't matter basically.
Sorry about our bit rate.
It doesn't matter. If the bit rate was higher, the connection would be worse, and you might not be able to hear us, so it would be blurry. So you kind of compromise on one or the other basically. We're doing our best. Sky Sports are apparently talking about Watkins to Arsenal still. Are you concerned about that at all with the hours ticking by?
Yeah, I'm panicking, mate. I've heard it's on a cab. He's going, no, I'm joking. No, Watkins will be going nowhere. Jesus. No, but that is like, I've seen a lot of different blogs and stuff from the other media outlets, and Watkins is like the main photo and stuff. But that is, in the at least national media.
Let's face it, they're trying to appeal to the silly Arsenal fans online.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at what's happening on deadline day today, I mean, what is it? Palace have had a bid for Tottenham. I don't know if it's
I think Gay's been had a bid for Tottenham as well.
Is that what I just? I think I just said.
Is that what you just said?
Unless I'm what a dreadful conversation that is. I think Palace have had a bid for Tottenham for Gay, and then you say.
Oh, did you say exactly the same?
I think I did. Maybe I didn't, but maybe that's not even a correct thing anyway because it's Daniel Levy. But yeah, you've got
what we said about Watkins and Arsenal. Why are they not bidding for Gay here on the 1st of January? Why are they waiting to do it now? Palace aren't going to sell now,
probably because they're not. But yeah, I see what you're saying. But I just don't want in the national media world and big. Oh God, I hate that. The tradition, the big commercial six.
Yeah.
They are obviously that's what the appeal for. On the final hours of the window and what's going on. There's not a whole lot going on. I think Porto's midfielder Nico Gonzalez could be going to City. That's about it. I think. So yeah, you've got to sort of
drum up the interest as best you can.
Play the game. But I mean, maybe Arsenal do whack in £50 million in the next 20 minutes. Good luck.
CJ Allen says, I want my wife to look at me the way Dan looks at John. Are you getting vibes with that? Giving me the eye or anything?
No, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest.
Oh, that's not very nice. I'm paying attention to as you speak.
No. Yeah, absolutely. But it's the it's the comment there that's.
Oh yeah, okay, fine, fair enough. The final thing I want to touch on, we've done. Where are we? We've done about half an hour-ish.
Have we really?
Yeah,
that's flown by.
Which is about enough, isn't it? I think. The talk about centre back. We will do a podcast this evening, as I've said a couple of times. So if you're watching this live, we'll do another one tonight when the deadline is almost done, or it is done, or when we feel like Villa are maybe done. We'll jump on again and talk through the window as a whole. We'll also do a more in-depth conversation on Wednesday. We're going to be back in the office doing like a January roundup, season review so far, season previews of what's to come. We're going to do a big kind of meaty episode in the week as well. So we'll talk about Nedeljkovic and whoever else another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about Nedeljkovic another time, but
I've got thoughts about that, but let's save it for now.
Can we get? Sorry, I was just going to ask in the comments. Can people just say like good signing or bad signing for Asensio? Because I've been so engulfed by Rashford. It's not really a deal that I've been looking at too much.
If Rashford don't happen, I think we'd be going pretty mad about Asensio. But because Rashford has happened, it's kind of like, oh well, that's
my
as
point.
well.
And I haven't really seen much around social media on forums as well about people really talking about him too much. As in, like in my head, and especially look at the numbers and how creative he is. Maybe it's just because of the defender stuff. We know where we need to improve, and it's not fundamental that we get.
That's what we said last night. Neutrals will look at Villa and go, "What a window they've had," but we're all going, but look at the defenders.
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of starting 11s, and it'll be like 3 players at the back who aren't available right now. Let's say that. Listen, Mings could be back for Tottenham, and already that does make a huge difference.
I do wonder whether Mings is closer than we know at the moment. Same with Torres. That I'm not suggesting Villa don't need to sign anybody, but if Torres is like 3 or 4 weeks away and Mings is available at the weekend,
let's just do it now. We're live. Hi everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because my okay, ignore me. For some reason, I thought we were heading into March and it's the start of February. No. Today's already been crazy.
Where were you going with that?
Mine just went. Pff. In February, I was thinking we were entering a month where we may only play like a couple of league games, but that isn't the case. Listen. Hopefully, Torres will be back. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he should be back hopefully for the start of that Champions League.
So if you're talking that we're going to be,
but you're looking at around 3, 4 Premier League games. But if you've got Mings and Konsa for that, it's okay. But equally,
you still want
we might not have them because things happen. You know, not everything goes to plan. So ideally, they do bring in one more, especially because you've lost Carlos. And that means, you know,
we want to replace them.
Put it this way: one injury to Konsa.
Yeah,
you know, good.
Do they really let Swinkles go today as well, knowing that they're not going to sign centre back?
I'm okay with that. He's clearly.
You'd rather not have a centre back than not playing.
Listen, Emery's the judge here, and I'm not going to disagree with that. I know that might sound like why aren't you saying anything against it? Because I don't watch Swinkles in training. I saw him against Wickham and I think he did okay.
Yeah.
That's League One opposition and he's going to League One side. And God, that's not me saying he's not going to be good enough. Cameron Archer went to Solihull Moors and didn't really score many goals and is now getting moves to Premier League teams every summer. So, that is a criticism at all. I just mean right now, is he what we need to get back in the Champions League? For maybe even 2 games, I don't know. Probably not. I'd rather him play for half a season now regularly for Bristol than play 30 minutes against Crystal Palace next month. Hopefully Mings is back for Tottenham, and if you can keep those 2 fit, it's a massive risk. Then but we say all this. Villa are working to sign a defender as we speak. Whether they do it or not is obviously a different thing. Disasi, as we reported yesterday, Chelsea. Oh, God, I almost fell over there.
He doesn't want to go to Tottenham, but Chelsea don't want to give him to us.
Yeah, from what I was hearing, and it's obviously as it's come out as well. Chelsea are viewing Villa as a direct rival. So Disasi, they're asking for a high loan fee. I was even told that they're willing to give him elsewhere for free, and I don't know if that is, but it would be a very minimal loan fee. If not compared to a high one for Villa. And I kind of stand with Villa a little bit on that. I don't want to be paying millions of pounds for a player who may only play here and there, because that is the truth of it. He may only play a couple of games if Konsa's fit and you don't need him. And then Felix as well. I'm told Chelsea wants £60 million from Villa to get him permanently. Maybe that's different for another club. I don't know. Again, Chelsea don't want to strengthen Villa, and they don't want to send him on loan.
Shows what Villa are now, though. That we're getting players from Man United and PSG, and Chelsea see us as a rival that they don't want to sell to.
But I don't have too much sympathy about it because do you expect anything else?
No.
Chelsea are trying to get in the Champions League. They view Villa as a rival. Why would they?
Or would we sell
Why
to
the hell would they help
Chelsea at this position if we were Chelsea?
Yeah, there's no, I've seen some fans saying, "Oh, don't do business with Chelsea again." Well, we might have to, and it may suit us both to do it. That's business. Why they're not going to be, they're not a charity. So, yeah, I have no issue with Chelsea doing that. I think it's for us. We're the ones who have left it late, and there's reasons for that, and we'll disclose that in the weeks after the window. But they sold Carlos thinking they'd get the Sevilla centre back. Oh, we're kind of talking about the video later, aren't we? So I'm not going to talk too much now. Yeah, in fact, I'll just shut up.
Yeah,
but Villa are working, sign a defender. Time is obviously running out.
The next podcast we do, Villa will either have signed a centre back or they haven't, and we'll talk about that then. It's as simple as that.
Deal sheet.
Your call for comments to ask whether Asensio was a good signing. Most people say yes. A few people saying it's little risk, so should be fine, kind of thing. Yeah. A few people have said Asensio good, Rashford bad.
Fair enough. I mean, it's an.
Well, we're not going to know, are we? Just
opinion. But right now, I don't think you can.
I don't think you can.
Again,
you probably can't call either good or bad just yet.
What I would say on Rashford, it's an opinion based on him not playing too well for Man United, but equally not. God, did you see Anthony yesterday? I think he got man of the match for Betis. I think that just about sums up what we should be thinking about Rashford in terms of let's not be writing him off at all. And again, the last Premier League start he had, he scored a brace and has got 15 goals and assists since start last season, which is good numbers considering he's been terrible apparently. So, yeah.
Okay, right. We'll wrap up there then. There's 500 people still watching. 11:30 on what day is it? Monday.
Get back to work.
Yeah, get back to work. Is that for us as well?
True. Yeah. Jeez.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Asensio has not yet signed, but we will not do another episode when Villa confirm it because this is our thoughts. We'll just be saying exactly the same things again. If for some reason the Asensio deal doesn't happen, this has been a waste of time.
Well, we'll report that if it happens, but no, as things stand,
he
had his medical yesterday, and
it's a matter of time, isn't it? We will do another podcast tonight. We won't be here. We'll both be back at home because it'll be late, and we'll talk about the window as a whole, all the loanees, Leon Bailey potentially leaving. I mean, that probably feels unlikely at this stage. But
that's one to keep an eye on because he has interest in this country as well, as we know, Man United and Tottenham. So we'll see. Interesting one particularly on Tottenham because obviously Langer signed him for Villa instead of signing Zaha. So yeah, interesting. Clearly, he's wanted a man.
Okay, well, you tap away on your laptop. Keep us abreast with all the latest across Birmingham Live and social media, etc. We will be back later tonight for another episode of the Clark Blue podcast, but hopefully you enjoyed this one. A few teething problems with it being live, but we are doing our best here. You'll see a lot more of us from this studio throughout 2025. One awkward thing, John, is that because my laptop's over there, I've got to get up to end it. So
this is good.
This is a bit weird.
Me to do it instead?
No, because I don't think you know what buttons to press, do you?
Would have made it funny, but gone.
Thank you very much for watching or listening to this episode of the Cloud Blue podcast, and we'll see you later tonight.
We'll see you later tonight, but Dan's just got to get up and turn it off first.
Just keep talking for a sec for those that are watching.
No, I'm going to watch you do it.